it's a hard job to take up.
Makulit! Skog, banat, kalasin nyo.
Skog, baba. Skog, nasan na kayo? Sir, may ganito. O, Skog, banat.
Nay, ang sabi ko po sa inyo, Thursday, bawas, hindi balik.
Hindi ko po binalik, tinakpan ko lang po kasi...
Hindi po. Kalas, bawas tayo ulit. Huwag na po ganon.
Yes, the law is harsh, but the implementer may puso. Kaya ang lagi kong patakaran, tanggalin man natin, sirain man natin yung gate, tanggalin man natin yung pader, pero yung paninda, huwag natin kukunin. Bakit? Coming from experience na rin naman to. Hindi naman lahat ng tao lumaki ng mayroong kaya. Nothing personal, trabaho lang po yun.
From your experience, sinong mas madaling makipag-deal with? Yung ordinaryong tao o yung VIP? From newsroom to screen, the Philippine Star continues to deliver stories that matter. Welcome to Truth on the Line, the Philippine Star's pioneer news and current affairs show. I am Ami Pamintuan, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star. Joining us here today is Gabriel Go, the head of the MMDA Special Operations Group Strike Force. Good afternoon, Mr. Go.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to the Philippine Star and thank you for taking time from your, I know, very busy schedule.
It's an honor to be here and I'm excited to be here po.
Pasaway daw tayo. Do you agree with that observation? Mga Pilipino daw eh. Totoo ba yan?
In some point, yes. In another aspect, hindi. As I said, no, pasaway in such a way. Bakit naging pasaway? Kasi nasanay. Nasanay tayo na pag walang nakatingin, pwede na yan. Pag walang nakatingin, sige lang, gawin natin yan. Pag may nanghuli, it's always, pasensya na po, sorry na po, hindi na po mauulit. But the question is, hanggang saan tayo aabot kung puro pasensya na lang ay bibigay natin? How will we be able to implement the traffic rules and regulations? Simple na lang po. Illegal parking. May nakalagay na traffic sign. No parking, mabuhay lane. Pero doon pa rin pumaparada ang mga tao. So, what more for other instances or ano pa man kung yung mas malalim na batas? Kung itong mga basic rules and regulations, hindi na natin masunod. And sa masamang salita, we are blatantly disrespecting it. So, yun ang gusto natin baguhin.
So, ang kulang talaga is law enforcement.
Law enforcement, kulang din po ang information dissemination. And another thing is consistency.
Sa tingin mo kung may information dissemination, alam ng mga tao, bawal yan at mahuhuli ka. If there is certainty of arrest, sa tingin mo susunod mga tao?
Yes. Definitely susunod ang tao. Pangalawa, ang kaagapay kasi ng consistency, ang kaagapay ng law enforcement and information dissemination is being consistent. Kung tayo pupunta sa isang lugar, let's say in a certain street, bawal pumarada dito from this end up to this end. Bawal dahil mabuhay lane po ito. Kinabukasan, pupunta tayo, meron na naman magpapaalala. Then after that, wala na. Babalik tayo 1 month after. So ang mga tao magkakaroon sila ng mindset na wala to. Dadating dito, mag-i-implement, magpapaalala, afterwards wala na. That's why it should be consistent. And ang kadugtong ng consistency, collaboration and coordination. Collaboration saan? Collaboration with other enforcement agencies. Coordination with the local government unit, specifically ang ating mga barangay.
Paano ko yung VIP yung ano? Madalas mangyari yan dun sa EDSA Carousel eh. Nakikita naman natin. VIP at medyo, well, marami namang MMDA personnel na hindi sila pinagbibigyan, ano? But sometimes, I think your predecessor got into trouble dahil sa ganyang ano.
Well,
paanong pararatingin sa mga VIP na kayo, sakop din kayo ng batas?
One thing is, lagi natin sinasabi, nobody is above the law. Pangalawa, the law applies to all. So kung magkakaroon po tayo ng certain instances of having exemptions, extending due courtesy, paano natin pasusunodin ang typical or the normal Filipino people? Kasi kung tayo mismo, ngayon tayo ay nasa posisyon, tayo po ay may katungkulan, I think we should be, may not be the best, but we should be at least the better example for people to follow us. Kaya nga sinasabi natin, di ba, lagi, sinasabi ng iba, paano kami susunod? Kung si certain ganito, siya mismo lumalabag. Siya mismo nakalagpas ang kanyang garahe sa bangketa. So, I think we have to really be stern when it comes to the application of the law applies to all. And as regard naman po sa mga ilang personalidad or we have personalities who are, let's say, lumabag sa batas. Hindi naman natin kailangan alamin kung sino man po ito. Hindi naman natin kailangan alamin ang further details kasi ang sa amin when it comes to enforcement of traffic rules and regulations, sino ba ang nagmamaneho? Driver. Sino ang may paglabag? Yung driver. So at that point in time, driver ang tikitan natin. That's it. Wala na tayong kailangan palakihin pa man. But at the end of the day, no, ang mahalaga kasi dito is yung nakasanayan nila, baguhin natin. And how can we do that? We have to enforce, we have to be consistent, and kailangan natin bigyan sila ng tamang impormasyon.
Meron ding criticism na sometimes we have to be lenient, lalo na kung mahirap, lalo na yung mga clearing operations. You've received a lot of criticism dahil dyan heartless ka daw. Yung mga pobre daw, pinapaalis mo, naghahanap buhay lang. How do you respond to those? Kasi kuminsan medyo maaawa din mga tao,
True.
di ba?
Spread out. Yung iba doon. Pisaan nyo doon. Kunin nyo lahat yan, yung case. May lisensya ka ba? Wala. Pili ka na lang. Lisensya mo, tikitan natin. O impound natin yung ginagawa nyo. Peram ng ID, kung sino sa inyo dyan. Lahat kayo walang ID. May business permit ba to?
Naglalakad lang po, mamuha.
So walang business permit.
Pero po naglalakad.
Nilalakad pa lang.
Alam mo,
Valid.
that's true, no? When it comes to the implementation of road clearing, it's always a balance between puso, emotion, and what is right or what is wrong. But the thing here is, kung lagi natin papairalin ang puso, lahat na lang, kailangan nating daanin sa emotions natin. But look at this way. Ang mga clearing namin ng mga vendors, dadating kami first time. On the first time, we will give them a warning. We will confiscate, for example, yung bangko o yung lamesa. Or the least, yung payong. I will tell them, bawal po kayo kasi these are the certain provisions. Bawal po kayo dito, huwag kayo lalagpas. Pangalawang beses, pag bumalik po ako, kukumpiskahin ko po yan. So afterwards, we operate. On the second time, pagbalik namin, meron pa rin. So pagsasabihan na naman namin ulit, may kukumpiskahin kami, again, kung ano man po nakahambalang, may lamesa, may payong ulit, we confiscate that. On the third time, we will do the same. But this time around, mas mabigat na. Kung ano man po makita namin, kukunin namin, estante man yan, may nakaharang man tent yan, may pader man yan, we have to remove it.
Skog, banat! Kalasin nyo! Skog, kalasin nyo na to. Masyado po tayo makulit. Makulit po kayo. Pasensya na po.
Especially,
Tinda.
yun ang isang specific na hindi ko po kinukuha. Mga paninda. That's why lagi ko nga sinasabi, yes, the law is harsh, but the implementer may puso. Kaya ang lagi kong patakaran, tanggalin man natin, sirain man natin yung gate, tanggalin man natin yung pader, pero yung paninda, huwag natin kukunin. Bakit? Coming from experience na rin naman to. Hindi naman lahat ng tao lumaki ng mayroong kaya. Most of us, most of the businessmen, the small entrepreneurs, nag-umpisa yan kasi kumukuha ng pondo. Ang pondo nila saan nanggagaling? The most inuutang pa yan . So kung yung inuutang nilang mga stocks, ikukumpiskay mo pa. Parang you are providing double whammy to these people . Pinagbabawalan mo na sila, kinumpiskahan mo na ng mga estante or lamesa, kukunin mo pa yung pinangutang nila. That's why it's my very strict instruction. Tanggalin natin ang obstruction, iwan natin ang paninda. So I don't think with that aspect, wala pa rin kaming puso. Because in the past, or the other clearing operations has been going on na pati paninda kinukuha. But then again, kanya-kanyang approach.
Paano kung after the third time, bumalik pa rin?
That's the problem . The only thing that we can do right now is to go over and over and over again . Kaya nga sinasabi ko minsan pabiro, kung sila makulit, mas makulit po kami. We have no choice. Tanggalin natin, gibain man natin yan. Actually, meron pong ganong instance. 5 beses na. Pero paulit-ulit. But what can we do? Can we file a case?
Can you file a case?
We can. But sasabihin ng tao, wala nang ang pera, wala nang hanap buhay, kakasuhan mo pa. So, why? So, ang sa amin, we really need the help and cooperation, hindi lang po ng ahensya ng MMDA, but also local government units. That's why ang sinasabi nga namin, why not? Makiusap ko po kayo. Ask the barangay, ask the LGU, saan po ba pwede magtinda? Makunan kayo ng permit. Pero hindi kayo makakahambalang sa bangketa. Hindi kayo makakahambalang sa flow ng traffic. So, we can do so much at this point in time. But then again, hindi naman pwedeng environment ang mag-adapt sa atin. Tayo ang mag-a-adapt sa environment. And aminin man natin o hindi, the environment is ever-changing so fast. Urbanization is skyrocketing. Lahat, ang daming development, ang daming mga infrastructure development. Pero, kumukonti ang espasyo. Lumiliit ang kalsada, kumikitid ang bangketa. And if we want to really implement this, at we really want to be strict about this, it's going to be hard. Why? Ang daming mga structures na itayo sa bangketa. Maraming mga structures dahil sa pagpapatayo nila, kumitid ang kalsada. Can we demolish them all at once? We cannot. We cannot. Why? It's a balance between urban planning and economic advancement. It's a very technical and deep issue. But at the end of the day, ang kailangan natin dito is we adapt to the environment. And kung tayo po ay sa atin mismo, hindi tayo makakaharang, for example, in the mobility of the people, then I think that small change will have a big effect.
Yan ang tatanong ko Are you coordinating with the local government? Kasi ang alam ko yung maraming vendor dyan, sabihin nila, may permit kami sa barangay May permit kami kay mayor. Lalo ngayong mag-eleksyon, walang magkakancel yung mga permit na yan. Are you coordinating?
Well, this time around, that's one thing na pinaigting namin, yung coordination with the local government unit and also with the barangay. Kasi nga, barangay is the most simplest and the basic form of government in a society. Sila ang nalalapitan ng tao.
Pero they can raise funds.
Yes.
So they can issue
Yes.
permits to the vendors kahit nakahara nga doon sa bangketa. Hindi ba? Tatanong ko, have you encountered that problem?
Well, there are certain aspects na na-encounter na namin yung ganung problema na mayroong permit. Although, in fairness sa mga nag-i-issue po ng permit, there are guidelines and provisions. Case in point, meron po dyan sa isang parte ng Manila na kung saan meron pong permit ang mga vendors. Pag tinignan mo yung provisions, you can only occupy this certain area. At kayo po ay kailangan mag-iwan ng 1.5 meters na bangketa para sa tao. So, doon pumapasok yung lack of information.
Alam ba yun ng barangay?
Well, yun ang sinasabi nga natin na lack of information. I-issue kayo ng permit, pero hindi nyo dinidiscuss sa binibigyan nyo ng permit. Kaya that's what we are trying to do also. Hindi lang kami implement, but also we re-educate. So sige po, may permit. Akin na po, babasahin po natin ang provisions. Ma'am, ito po ang guidelines, ito po ang provisions. Pinapayagan kayo magtinda from this area to this area. Pero ang patakaran, kailangan may matirang 1.5 meters. Ang patakaran, by this time, kailangan wala na po kayo dyan. Meron din nakalagay dyan na kailangan malinis, walang extension ng lamesa. So that's what we are trying to do. Hindi lang po ini-implement at kiniklear, but also we re-educate. And in fairness to it, ilang beses na rin kami naka-encounter ng ganon at nare-realize nila na ay, may mali pala, hindi namin naintindihan.
You're talking about the vendors.
Yes, we're talking about the vendors now.
Anong nangyayari sa kanila?
Well, in fairness to it, pag binalikan po namin, hindi na sila totally naka-occupy ng entire sidewalk. Kasi we have to understand also, no matter where we go, pumunta tayo sa karatig bansa sa Asia, meron mga vendors sa kalsada. May vendor sa bangketa. But they do not take up the entire space just for the sake of having business. So, hindi natin pwedeng i-eradicate. We cannot eliminate them. We just have to control and set limitations to them. And pag nag-set tayo ng limitations, we have to enforce it at siguraduhin natin na susunod.
Anong reaction ng public generally sa'yo?
Generally, a lot of people are happy of what we are doing because unang-una, as I said, the law applies to all, wala tayong pinipili. Then again, on the other side of the story, maraming tao nagagalit. Bakit? Sinasabi nila, mahirap na yung tao, tinatanggalan nyo ng negosyo. Hindi ba na yung pwedeng pagbigyan na lang? Taga dyan lang naman. Hindi nyo ba pwedeng pagbigyan dahil senior na? Case in point, paano natin pagbibigyan ang isang kababayan nating senior na nagmamaneho ng motor na walang helmet, nakatsinelas, walang ORCR, and the worst, walang dalang driver's license? So, how will we provide yung compassion na gusto natin bigyan ng pagbibigyan at konsiderasyon if all of those are already in violation? Ganun na lang isipin natin sa mga motorista. Kung kayo po ay naaksidente, may nakabangga sa inyo na isang driver na walang dalang lisensya, what will be your reaction? Ano ang magiging panagutan ng driver na yun? Wala. Worst comes to worst, mga nagpo-provide ng public transportation service. Yung mga for example, mga motorcycle taxi, mga jeepneys, for example. Pag walang lisensya, you are convening public transportation. May sakay ka Buhay ang dala mo. Dapat meron kang kumpletong dokumento. You should have the authority to operate the vehicle. And that authority is bearing a driver's license. Paano kung wala ka nun? So, I hope people understand kung bakit hindi sa lahat ng oras ang pakiusap ay binibigay.
Bago natin iwanan yung criticism na heartless ka, puntahan natin yung nangyari last Wednesday. Nakita natin yung video, no? Medyo munti ka ng makuyog yata doon. And you were rescued, quote-unquote. Well protected, actually, by some policemen. Ano ba nangyari doon?
Well, there was yun nga po, may insidente na nagkaroon po ng pagpupulong ang isang transport group na kung saan ay had an instruction na ayusin at i-clear dahil nga po at that time may mga sasakyan na nakaparada, illegally parked as stated, na hindi naman po pwede. Dahil unang-una, yung kalsadang Connecticut, it's a mabuhay lane. Pangalawa, it's nearing the rush hour of lunchtime na kung saan alam naman natin ilang eskwelahan ang nandun sa area na maglalabasan na rin. So definitely, ang standing order at that time was to remove the obstruction to ensure free flow of traffic. And
standing order?
Yes.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, merong hindi pagkakaintindihan. I understand dahil syempre sa init ng panahon, sa init ng issue na pinaglalaban, which we respect that. We respect yung right ng ating mga kababayan to air out ang kanilang mga sentimento. But then again, hindi rin kasi sapat or tamang dahilan ito para magkaroon ng komosyon or raise aggressiveness. Dahil ang ano lang naman po natin doon is kung merong mga driver, pinapaalis. Ang walang driver, that's the own time it will be issued a ticket. And we're very, our working relationship with the Philippine National Police, maganda po ang working relationship. Ever since I started this clearing operation, ang kapulisan po ay tumutulong sa atin. They provide collaboration, and we're very thankful for that. And at that point in time, nandun po ang ating tatlong kapulisan na kung saan or ilang mga kapulisan na tumulong po agad sa atin. And I think ang naging problema lang naman po kasi talaga doon is misunderstanding. And we understand different elements Init ng araw, init ng ulo, emotions, and etc. So, nothing personal. So, trabaho lang po yun.
In hindsight, would you have done things differently?
I think it will be the same.
The same.
Kasi,
ano nang latest? Kasi nagtatanungan nun kung pa-filean nyo ng kaso. Or...
Well, personally naman po, no bodily harm was inflicted. Although makikita natin sa videos na
batok. Hindi ka naman tinamaan.
Hindi naman po. So, ang talagang tinamaan doon ng ating enforcer na kung saan makikita natin na nasira po ang visor ng kanyang helmet. Yeah. So, as I said, mga ganong instances is part of the job. Kung wala naman po nasaktan ng lubha, I think we can just let this go. Kasi kung tayo po ay lahat ng bagay, we will fight emotions with emotions, we will fight aggressiveness with aggressiveness, then I think we won't be able to partake change in the society. Magbabangayan lang tayo, batuhan dito, batuhan doon. Kaya ang sabi ko rin sa aking team, sa ating enforcer, helmet lang yan. Papalitan na lang natin.
Pinapapalitan niya? Nasira talaga?
Yes, nasira po yung helmet. Sira po talaga yung helmet. Yung motor niya medyo na itulak, but luckily wala naman pong ganong kalaking damage.
You've been on the job more than a year, no? More than a year. Anong takeaways mo?
It's a hard job to take up. Hindi. To be honest, if we're going to look at my background, malayo naman po talaga.
Oo nga, consular
Yes, consular and diplomatic affairs.
Consular and diplomatic affairs, so, St. Benilde.
St. Benilde.
Okay.
So, if you're going to consider
medyo that. Medyo malayo-layo yung
malayo sa traffic management But I think, it was very helpful coming from a background of international relations because somehow yung communication skills natin, we were able to apply and develop it further. And aside from that, yung knowledge natin when it comes to implementation of the law, andoon. Because it was part of our curriculum when I was taking up consular and diplomatic affairs.
Pero bakit naisipan mo? Why MMDA? Who recruited you? Did you apply?
Well, honest to goodness, when back in 2019, 2020, I was part of an agency, government agency already, which is an attached agency of the Malacanang. So, during that time, co-terminus ako. So, 2022 came.
Which agency?
This was the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission.
Okay.
I was part of that. So, 2022 came, co-term po ako. I have to step down. When I stepped down of the office, sabi ko, ano bang pwede natin gawin? Because I don't really see myself being in politics. I don't see myself in government service, to be honest. There was this friend na sabi sa akin, habang naghihintay ka, why not join me sa MMDA? Dahil nga he was looking for a deputy. So sabi ko, why not give it a try? Sabi ko, it looks like an exciting job. Although sabi ko, I have to start from scratch. So a year and a half passed during those times, 2022 about a year, 2022 to 2023. I was the deputy of the task force, special operations. So medyo nahasa po tayo ng kaunti sa mga ginagawa sa kalsada. So somehow parang nagkaroon ako ng hilig. Nasabi ko, pwede pala, no? Pwede palang ma-apply kung ano yung knowledge ko. Pwede kong ma-apply kung ano yung alam ko sa consular. So sabi ko, sige, tuloy-tuloy. Until such time that I was, naging ako na po ang head ng special operations, which is a new group under MMDA pa rin naman po. This was around late 2023. So ako na po ang tumayong head ng special operations nung 2023 of November or December.
It's a hard job, pero meron ba namang edifying moments? Meron bang rewarding experience?
I think the most rewarding feeling na masasabi ko, it's not something na nabigyan ako ng award or I would say it's not more of material. It's more on the fulfillment. Fulfillment because I think this was the only time na kung saan yung ginagawa natin, it expanded and touched even the younger generations. Ang mga nag-aaral ng high school, even the little kids who are in grade school, nagugulat ako. Alam nila yung clearing operation, kilala nila ako, and they know what we are doing. So, I think that's something na, the accomplishment na masasabi ko na currently it's the best. Kasi, nakilala ng tao kung ano yung ginagawa ng ahensya. And it's very fulfilling to know. Coming from little kids, alam na namin kung saan bawal pumarada. And coming from a grade school student, gusto kong maging tulad mo paglaki.
Wow.
So, those are the fulfilling factors of this job. Pero kung tatanungin mo ko, how's the job generally? Mahirap. Mahirap na trabaho.
Pero yung ganyang reaction sa'yo, it's because of your extensive use of social media. Bakit naisipan mo? Yun ang medyo pagkakaiba ninyo ni Bong, no? Although, of course, high profile si Mr. Nebrida noon. Pero ikaw, bilis-bilis mong nakilala
Alam mo, nakakatawa yung story nito I have a TikTok account, which is private.
Before pa.
Apo. Naka-private yan.
So talagang TikTok ka, matagal na.
Matagal na. Pero pag tinignan mo yung TikTok ko, walang laman. I just use the TikTok before going to bed, browse lang ako. Pag wala akong ginagawa, I just browse. Ang totoo, alam mo na binabrowse ko? Kung saan masarap kumain. Yung mga reviews ng restaurant. So, that was my or kung saan magandang pumunta, pag weekends. So, yun talagang purpose ng TikTok ko. Then all of a sudden, sabi nung na-realize ko, kasi sabi ko, yung ginagawa natin, I want people to be more knowledgeable. It's not about, gusto ko makilala, gusto ko sumikat. Hindi po. I can work even without cameras. Sabi ko, but it's about time kasi TikTok platform is very extensive. Milyon-milyon ang mga gumagamit. So, what can we do to partake and let people know kung anong ginagawa? To re-educate them. So, I tried uploading one video of me explaining to an illegal parking violator na bawal po yan, ganito kasi ang patakaran natin, hindi na kita mapagbibigyan. So, very extensive ang explanation ko lagi. So, I tried posting one video. That was November of 2024. November 31 to be exact, my first video
Last year
upload.
lang.
Last year. That was my very first video upload. The next morning when I woke up, it was about 500,000 views.
Wow.
So sabi ko, ang galing ah. And people were commenting na, mix comments eh. There's a good, there's a bad. Sasabihin ng iba, grabe ka, hindi mo pinagbigyan. May edad na. Konti lang naman. Yung iba naman sabihin, tama yan. Yung konting violation kasi pag pinabayaan, malaki ang epekto, kita mo, walang malakaran, etc. etc. So sabi ko, I think this is a good platform. So in the next succeeding days, meron kasing mga certain operations na very informative. So I posted it. So nagpo-post ako every now and then. Pero more on lessons, more on educating people na pag ganito ang situation, bawal po yan. Bawal kayo pumarada 6 meters from the curve. So nagugulat ako. The videos were garnering.
TikTok lahat to.
But the main purpose, sabi ng iba, ginamit mo ang TikTok para sumikat ka. Pero ang sa akin, the purpose of the TikTok is I want people to know kung anong tama at mali. And in fairness to it, na-accomplish natin yun. Kasi maraming ang mga tao mag-message. Sir, sana mabasa mo yung message ko. Ngayon, alam na namin kung bakit bawal ito. Sir, salamat po kasi dito sa amin, nag-umpisa na po maglinis mag-isa. Ang kapitbahay namin. So, nakakatuwa. Even ang batang 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, makikita ko, minsan tinatag ako sa story, nanonood ng TV, ako ang pinapanood. So, sabi ko, nakakatuwa. But then again, no, there are still some, syempre, negative feedback. Sinasabi, you use TikTok just for the sake of getting popular. Which is, you may look at it that way, pero ang sa akin, I'm just happy na a lot of people are viewing it and knowing na nililinis natin ang problema sa lansangan.
Okay lang pumasok yung SCOG banat. Kailan yan? Kailan yan?
Kasi po, pag nag-clearing kami, ang SOG, Special Operations Group, so meron ako naka-attach na isang truck na SCOG or SCOG. It stands for Sidewalk Clearing Operations Group na kung saan sila yung mga, yan yung truck na pinagsasakyan ko ng for example, lona, payong, lamesa, doon ko sinasakay. Doon namin nilalagay yung mga nako-confiscate. So pag dumating ko, SCOG baba, SCOG nasan na kayo? Sir, may ganito. O SCOG banat. So doon So people got the yung sounding na yung SCOG.
Sino nagbigay ng permit? Wala. SCOG banat. SCOG banat, kalasin nyo. SCOG baba.
Nakakatuwa nga, meron nga pong gumawa ng parang t-shirt. SCOG. You know what the SCOG stands for? Para sa kanila?
Oh.
Secure and parang seeking for clean and orderly grounds.
Ba?
So, napakaganda ng ng nangyari. Kasi nga, people became more aware. Nagkaroon sila ng awareness kung ano dapat ang gawin natin.
You think, nagko-connect ka with children, you're saying, you think it will improve compliance with the law in the future?
Yes. Kasi I still believe na the younger generations are the ones who needs to continue kung ano man po ang mga ginagawa natin or ng kanilang mga magulang. So, lagi ko nga sinasabi, pinsan pag may nakikipagtalo na may kasamang bata, Sir, I think hindi po tama na ganun ang ipakita nyo sa bata. Kasi tutularan eh. You have to be the example or set a good example to your children. So, hindi lang, hindi lang about pagpapatupad ng batas sa kalsada. I think we are also trying to change yung pag-uugali. Kasi it's interconnected eh. Yung ugali natin plus yung pagsunod natin sa batas, iisa eh. Kung ang ugali po natin ay masunurin tayo, I think wala tayong magiging problema sa pagsunod sa batas.
So, pwedeng mawala yung pasaway, ha?
Hindi natin pwedeng totally ma-eradicate, but it will lessen. It will greatly lessen it. Kasi ang pasaway, I cannot say na natututunan, pero nakikita eh. Nakikita at ginagaya.
Leadership by example.
Yes.
Hindi leadership.
Very, very basic sa loob ng tahanan, sa loob ng bahay. Kung ang pamilya ay, for example, napakasipag, madasalin, sumusunod sa mga patakaran, ang mga bata lumalaking disiplinado. Pero kung ang pamilya, ang tatay, ang nanay, I'm not saying everyone, but paggising ng umaga, makikita mo umiinom sa gilid, ang nanay, kung ano-ano ang ginagawa, walang trabaho. So, lalaki yung bata ng tatay ko ganun eh. Why can't I be like him? Diba? Yung iba naman sasabihin, kasi lumaki kaming mahirap eh. We'll stay mahirap. Remember, no? Ang katayuan natin sa buhay, it's not given. It's a choice that we make. So whatever the choice that we make, it matters a lot.
Nabanggit mo kanina yung you're using SOCMED daw for popularity. Siguro dahil election season ngayon, marami nag-i-speculate na, mukhang may balak pumasok sa politiko. Is that a valid observation?
For now, no. Dahil I don't see myself right now intervening with politics kasi napakahirap. I mean, sa trabaho ko ngayon, napakahirap na eh. What more if you will be representing the people? You will be representing a certain group. There will be a lot of compromises. So, I'm the type of person that I don't like compromises. Sasabihin ng mga tao, masyado kang stricto. Pag hindi tayo stricto, ano mangyayari? There will always be excuses. There will be always extra special treatment. Paano natin babaguhin? Diba? I'll borrow a very famous theme that we are using right now in the Philippines. Bagong Pilipinas. It's about time na baguhin natin ang Pilipinas, diba? So, I think it's not about mahirap ang politics. So, if people are seeing it as a step towards politics, I don't see myself right now in politics.
Right now, ha?
For now, because meron tayong gustong kumbaga maibigay na serbisyo. Limited for now kasi we are limited to this responsibility. Pero kasi ako nakikita ko yung society natin na we can even partake even more change. So whatever, let's put it into kung ano man ang bigay sa akin ng destiny, if it's meant for me to be in public service, in a different aspect, destiny can tell. If not, kung ano man po ang maging kapalaran, everything happens for a reason.
Yung law enforcement, malapit yan sa violence, ano? Are you getting threats?
Yes.
Serious?
Yes.
Talaga?
Meron.
How do you deal with it?
Well, threats are imminent, especially sa trabaho na ito. If we're going to put fear ahead of us, then wala tayong magagawa. Hindi natin magagawa ang trabaho natin. So, either I wake up in the morning, I shrug it off, but I don't take it, I take it seriously. I take precautions. Ako na ang nag-a-adjust. Kung ano man pong adjustments ang kailangan gawin.
Yung trabaho mo, you also deal with violence. Halimbawa, road rage. Marami tayong ganyang issue. Recently, although it wasn't in Manila, meron tayong ganun nagkakapatayan yan. How do you deal with those situations?
Well, we have encountered several instances na kung saan ang enforcers po natin ay tinatakbuhan. To the point na muntik masagasaan ng tao namin. Meron dyan, sinisita lang, kita na natamaan na, sumampa na yung enforcer sa hood ng kotse.
Yes.
Hindi pa rin pinigilan, hindi tumigil. So, alam nyo, hindi na to People have to start to think na this society, hindi naman tayo lawlessness. There's a law. So, we just have to be strict when it comes to following it. And remember, respect begets respect. So, we have to have a mutual respect for each other. Kung nakita nyo hinuhuli kayo, ano ba naman yung huminto kayo? Alamin ko anong violation nyo. Kung tingin nyo may mali ang enforcer namin or ang traffic enforcer, edi there is a channel or there's a ground to contest or to complain. Hindi tamang sagasaan, hindi tamang takbuhan, at mas lalong hindi tamang saktan ang ating mga kawani ng gobyerno or even kawani ng law enforcement.
Isa pang problema sa traffic enforcement, although hindi namin masyado naririnig ngayon, yung kotong, no? Yung mga kotong corruption. You came from an agency that dealt with corruption. Problema pa ba? Is it a serious concern sa MMDA?
Malaki ang nabawas. Malaki ang nawala. But eradicating it 100%, we cannot do it in just a flick of a finger. As I said, no, ang problema sa society, ang problema sa traffic, ang problema, tulad yan, problema sa mga enforcers. It has been going on for ages. And corruption, it traverses, hindi lang naman when it comes to enforcers the entire complex spectrum of the society, andyan yan So, at least, nabawasan, natakot ang mga enforcers to do such things. So, I think that's a very good accomplishment na nabawasan natin at this point in time, especially during this time of our dear chairman, Attorney Don Artes.
Pahabol ko lang from your experience, sinong mas madaling makipag-deal with, yung ordinaryong tao o yung VIP?
Alam nyo, nasa tao kasi yan maraming ordinaryong taong masyadong yung character of entitlement. They see our traffic enforcers as enforcer ka lang. Diba? So, yung sense of entitlement and yung pagbibigay ng ibang character sa mga nagpapatupad ng batas, I think that's something that we have to change also So, both ways. Maraming mahirap kausap, maraming mga entitled, but marami rin ang sumusunod at nakakaintindi na to the point pag hinuli mo sila, tanggap nila. And we are very thankful for that.
Are you working out new campaigns para in your line of work, road clearing, traffic management? Can we expect new programs from the MMDA along the coming months?
Well, definitely po, no? Because as we all know, there are several developments also coming in. Like for example, the rehabilitation.
Yun ang problema.
So definitely there will be campaigns on kung paano natin susolusyonan because we are expecting traffic jam. Alam naman po natin ang EDSA, ilang milyon or hundreds of thousands of vehicles are traversing it every day. So there are certain programs na kung saan pagtutulungan po natin ito kasama ang ibang ahensya tulad ng DOTR. Andyan naman po ang lokal na mga pamahalaan dahil ilang cities po ang tatamaan nitong rehabilitation. But then again, the rehabilitation, it's necessary already. Dahil EDSA has been used or overly used already. So we have to start to rehabilitate it para magkaroon ng magandang situation yung kalsadang iyan.
Can you give us an idea kung merong, syempre maraming dumadaan doon baka mabigla. What can we expect?
Well, for one po, we are already working on mga alternate routes. We have our Mabuhay lanes, 17 Mabuhay lanes to be specific. And based on the meeting that was conducted last week, there will be other alternative routes that will be identified within the week na kung saan magbibigay naman po ng impormasyon ang ating ahensya. And aside from that, definitely mas malaking traffic management scheme, deployment of our enforcers. Aside from that, syempre, ang pagtulong po ng lokal na traffic enforcer sa atin.
Malapit na tapos na po yung oras natin. Baka may panawagan po kayo sa mga motorista, sa mga kababayan natin.
Well, sa amin naman po, when it comes to this scenario or this job that we are doing, lagi ko sinasabi, we cannot do this alone. We need the help of course, taong bayan. Kailangan natin ng tulong ng lokal na pamahalaan and kailangan din natin ng tulong, especially in the barangay level. So, I'm really calling for a collaborative effort. And sana po maintindihan nyo yung ginagawa natin. It's not just about matikitan ka, hulihin ka, magkaroon ka ng penalty. I hope you understand na maintindihan ng ating mga kababayan na everyday we are shouting for change. Pero yung mga simpleng traffic issues, ayaw nating sundin. So, what more sa mga pagbabagong mas malaki na gagawin natin? So, we are really hoping na at the end of the day, lahat po tayo magtutulungan at sana maintindihan niyo po ang ginagawa naming trabaho. Ito po ay para maibalik ang kaayusan sa kalsada at disiplina sa taong bayan.
And with that, Mr. Go, thank you for your time. Marami pong salamat for coming to the site. It's been an enlightening session with you.
Maraming salamat.
Good luck po sa trabaho niyo.
It's an honor and we're very thankful for the support of hindi lang po ng itong mga programa po natin but also the support ng ating mga kababayan.
Thank you for tuning in to Truth on the Line. I am Ami Pamintuan, delivering stories that matter and news with integrity. Only truth shall prevail. Until the next episode.